time to build up their power.
Well, Dragonshire will be the map here for L5. Going to game number 2, one of their best maps. However, this was the map that Tempest defeated L5 in their best of 5 in, I think it was week 4. The only map that Tempest took on L5. Black took a map on L5 as well. They lost 2 maps this season. So a risky pick for L5 to go back to this one. This is the map where Duck Duck showed his Nazebo for the first time in that previous series. We will see if they can make it work.
Yeah, let's see if Duck Duck's condition and his shape comes back into game number 2. As they already looked, we saw draft number 1, they already looked very studied, but their improv was not too perfect for the Battleground. I hope for this one, where as L5 chose the map, and Tempest should be the one to actually make the right response for it.
I'm wondering what's the magic comp for Tempest to make this work. I'd like to see first pick fall stab. Vol is removed. That's fine. That's normal. I want to see the first pick fall stab. I'm going to really focus on Tempest in this draft, as L5 is going to do the norm. Muradin, Malfurion. Do it, you won't.
Or
do it, you won't.
Or even Dehaka.
Yeah, I guess it's going to be Dehaka Malfurion in this case for the map, but they could go Muradin. They don't even have to take globals here, but it would be silly to not.
They can pick Muradin and focus on wave clear to call that global into team fight. That's also possible. But L5 really focuses on macro.
Wow, the early Nazebo, they took that away. Duck Duck won, like I said, on his first Nazebo game career on this map when they faced against each other last time. They also are leaving the Malfurion to Tempest's side. It almost feels like they really want Tempest to commit all the way to the double, going into the Falstad and the Dehaka. Tempest can ban Dehaka after not taking him, so I feel like that would be unwise unless they just really feel like the double global is good for them rather than just denying. This is kind of a tricky pick for L5 because Tempest is like, wow, you took Nazebo really early. That's one of the best heroes on this map for scaling, but why would you pick Nazebo this early? What are you planning? It's, you know, them just trying to figure this one out. They're going to take ETC with a Tychus, so they have 2 damage, lockdown, the ETC, so they don't get locked out of the Warrior Choke, and it can be a semi-global. You haven't seen it too much recently. It will just depend on the situation, whether they take it or not, depending on how the game is going.
Especially since Arthas came into that Warrior pull. The choke did not work as well, so ETC kind of got pushed out.
Yeah, it's rare to actually see him over the Arthas right now, but they want him specifically for either the 4-man rotation. They have Tychus and ETC down there is really powerful, and or his global. Over Arthas, who can do a lot of things in general, but CC is his best and his slows. Okay, L5, what's it going to be? It's a tough ban right now. Banning Lucio. They didn't even take the Malfurion themselves, so that's a bit odd.
Which basically means they are going to take a support on their next pick rotation, very likely.
Dehaka's a good ban here, just to delay and control the shrines. It's going to remove, wow. I was going to say it could remove L5's global presence completely.
Yeah, they really do not want that Malfurion to go into L5. They know that zoning control is, the root is just so powerful, and with those heals coming in for sustain, especially for Muradin too. Okay, now with Lucio and Malfurion removed from Dragonshire, we may actually see Brightwing coming in with that global too. There's a slight chance. It increased the chance by maybe 2%.
I mean, it could happen. I'm not holding my breath. Still no games of Brightwing for Swoy this season. Sadly, Brightwing is out of the meta. Maybe we'll see her again at BlizzCon, but for now, not going to happen, I imagine. It would be cool. Tracer, Brightwing, bring it back. Let's go. No, don't do that, L5.
You're talking to yourself now. Well, L5, really?
Okay, it's going to be Rhaegar.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have Li Ming. This feels like a Tyrael situation for Tempest.
Seems likely, especially with ETC.
Yeah. You block out all the damage from Li Ming
and just carries him to actually just finish up the draft. Seems okay. It's a very standard Tempest draft for.
Yeah, I'd like to see them go that way.
For Dragonshire, but
they
I feel like something is missing here.
Well, they have good wave clear with Tychus, but they don't have anything that pressures with that on top of it. They don't have like a hammer on top of that. They have ETC to help get picks, perhaps in the early game. They're going to go down the exact path we mentioned. Now they have a strong early game solo laner with Tyrael. They'll probably swap it back to the Falstad. May always be Falstad at the top lane. We'll see. This comp looks really good on paper, especially against the double mage here with Li Ming and Nazebo. L5 already locked in the Rhaegar, so we're looking at potentially the solo laner. Dahaka's still up, so it could just be the Dahaka lock-in. Otherwise, maybe a Sonya. But, wow, Ragnaros, long time no see. See him about once a day now, used to be every game. His involvement rate has plummeted since his nerf. Okay, so it's going to be an interesting matchup there for Ragnaros. There's a lot of gank potential. We'll also see if Tempest swaps Tychus into the solo lane at times to look for some of those picks. ETC is going to be looking for roaming. Both drafts really solid and standard here. But Nazebo, the late game hero, if we go to late game, that is going to be the edge that L5 has in this map. So we go into game number 2 on Dragonshire. Tempest in blue, hide on his Karzim, Duck on Tychus, lockdown on his famed Falstad sign on ETC and Modern Life on Tyrael.
And in red, L5, SCSE on Nazebo, Nachojin on Li Ming, Zhengha on Ragnaros, Noblesse on Luradin, and Swoi on that Rhaegar.
2 for 2, Tempest denies Swoi's Malfurion.
This draft for Tempest is a very old, very old 2016 summer style Tempest.
With one exception, I would say. No strong melee to pair with the Tyrael. This is very non-Korea 2016. Where
this is
the Tyrael works with anything idea, which has, I feel like, to a certain extent been proven to be a real thing eventually, but I think the Tyrael is to work with the ETC and to help, especially with his new spell damage reduction, deal with the double AP damage that comes out from Nazebo.
Oh, Li Ming actually gets caught, seems very low, and it gets taken out off the screen, and Noblesse actually a bit late to help.
Sadly, luckily his trait will bring him back up to full life very soon.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, yeah. I was just going to say that the damage denial on the AP for Tyrael is quite good too. Tempest already has first blood, a lot of lane pressure, and they're looking for an early Dragon Knight. Not going to be able to unleash yet. They will actually control these shrines, as we see a big rotation forward here for L5. Just want to stop it from even channeling at all. Ooh, SC could get caught here. Nice dodge on the power slide. He's looking like he's still going to go down regardless. Have to give credit where credit is due, just like that Modern Life dodge, even though he died last game, I want to point out. And Nachojin will get sniped as well. 3 kills in the early game. Tempest is absolutely dominating the second game. Remember, this is the map they won against L5 last time. I don't feel like this is map related. This is just very well coordinated. This will be a Dragon Knight for Tempest. Hyde is going to channel. No one to stop this. 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Look for the full wall here. See you later, Muradin. Lots and lots and lots of early lane pressure. Jonga goes down. Nicely done.
Perfect amount of resources used, and they make it work every single time. Wow, L5 is having awful time in the beginning of the game, which they're not used to. They're usually very good with splitting apart and just not getting into those ganks, but Noblesse coming in a step late every single time, and also all their laners are also off guard a little bit. I don't know what exactly is going on for L5 right now.
I think Tempest is just really using the fact that they have a global, they have a strong wave clear to just kind of push and pressure, and every time the rotation happens, it's swift. Ragnaros is a really weak solo laner, so he's kind of always getting bullied up there. Whenever he wants to go and finally get his EXP that he's been zoned out of, that's when they're looking for the gank. So it's been really well coordinated, but he's just not going to get value until the later stage of the game, where he's going to be looking for molten core team fights. And, you know, L5 looks for trouble in the lane with this composition, but they're hoping to stay fairly even so they can head towards that late game. But if this continues, if Tempest can secure a second Dragon Knight, maybe they snowball the game away from L5, and L5 never gets to see late game on Dragonshire here. This is really greedy, what we're seeing from Lockdown. No one punishes him, though. Normally, that's the tank's job to poke in like that, but he just did his false stat.
Well, they were splitting, and they were not really going for their own camp, so he was using that time just to harass, I'm guessing.
Well, they also hid Duck in the bot lane, so it looked like it was a bigger commitment for L5, so perhaps L5 would have freaked out and moved away if it were a tank there, but because it was false stat, they stayed patient, and were rewarded for that patience. Noblesse here, caught in the bush. Hoping for the dwarf toss. Does not get interrupted.
Oh my, does not get interrupted, but looks like he did not make the dwarf toss off to the side away from Tempest, and there's a kill.
Tempest is just having really coordinated rotations, and they're getting picks. You know, punishing some of the positioning choices for L5, like Noblesse just being there in the bush, with all the interrupts they had for the dwarf toss. He still got it off, but way too late, just way too low in health.
I think Tempest is playing near perfection, but it is also L5 not really focusing into the game right now. I think they are not totally concentrated on what could have been such a better macro. They could have used all their potentials to focus on not giving the kills to Tempest, and they already have a full level lead.
Okay, we're looking for the gank here in the Modern Life. Good Aldruins, ton of resources spent. This was a bad rotation. Now they lose in the bot lane to Zevo. And you could tell how fearful L5 is in their positioning even in lane. Nachujin in the mid lane, not even standing in EXP range with Li Ming, is occasionally throwing out skill shots and hoping that he gets a minion kill or two. You can see him now even all the way back behind. Still gets picked. The Mosh comes in. They have 10. He is dead. And that's why he's been respecting Tempest rotation so much.
Wow, and signed the god on ETC today, making every power slide, almost every power slide, into a kill.
Okay, this is a lot of damage, though, onto him. He's definitely going to want to get out here. Nearly gets aggroed by that fort. It's going to be another Dragon Knight, though, for Tempest. This is what I'm talking about. They're looking to snowball this game. They want this game to end soon. They're getting consistent picks. 7 kills to 0 currently. L5 is about to have 10 to help defend. Might even pop Molten Core here this time.
And of course, Wave of Force to cancel Mosh, but the Sank will actually not let that interrupt come in. And Karazim still holding that potential of 7-sided, and it does actually go for that 7-sided. Gust does not catch Swoy perfectly, but that may actually be enough damage to take out Swoy, and there goes Swoy.
Swoy should not have been there. I'm not sure whose assist ping that was. It could have been L5 pinging him like, why are you there? You should not be in mid lane right now. That's insanely vulnerable. Or it could have been Tempest ping, I need help to kill him here. But either way, one team of the two was very much aware that this was not where Swoy should have been and capitalized on it. Whether L5 was telling him to get out of there or not, he did not respond quickly enough. Now it's 8 kills to 0. That pick helps deal with this. He was just sitting there soaking. You know, he's got good wave clear. 7-sided onto Noblesse. Not going to be enough to get the kill.
Barely. Thorpe tosses away. I think not having that global is pressuring L5 to actually make the rotations go up faster, go down faster, which is an exact sign is standing in the middle right there, catching them off guard. I think that's where it all started, and L5 is really pressured to make that comeback into EXP, and Tempest has been just punishing L5 with that.
Well, finally, this wave pushes in enough for Jungha to get a few pieces of EXP. Look at how careful he's being. He's like, oh, I don't even know where they are. I just want to get like 1 or 2 more minions, please. So, wants that soak
Scary.
so bad.
And Tempest, they are about to hit 13.
Okay, he's just going to rotate down here. We see his Falstad top. He's like, please clear that fast so I can get the EXP, please. Missed Stormbolt here for Noblesse. This is a just uncharacteristically weak game for L5. His sign comes in here looking for that power slide over the wall. Not going to happen. L5 is hanging in there. They've only lost 1 fort, and the EXP deficit is only 1 level. So Duck's just going to keep this wave push. Wants to help that Siege Giant go as far as he can. Not going to get any further than that, though. Tempest is doing such a good job of zoning L5 out of EXP. And that's something we don't really talk about all too often in Heroes of the Storm. It's more seen in other MOBAs, but you know, when you see Nitrogen and Jungha just kind of hanging back, basically hiding behind the wall, they're not getting the EXP that would normally be soaking for.
That was the first literal definition of zoning when zoning came out as a word for MOBA first, but not anymore.
Okay.
Stacks are building for Marks.
It's 9 away. Here we go. Level 13 on the horizon here for L5. These shrines do spawn. And
they're waiting for Nazeebo, and Nazebo's going through that safe path.
Yeah, but Nitrogen is not going for the soak here.
They might actually punish if Nazeebo steps a little bit further.
This is EXP zoning. This is literally what I'm talking about. He could barely get in there to get his stacks. We talk about late game being strong for Nazeebo, but if he's not getting kills, if he's not building stacks, you don't just by default get strong in the late game. You do it level 20, but beyond that, he was looking to get tankier. And he just can't even soak. Can't even soak EXP when he doesn't have vision of where they are. They'll finally get this down, but a lot of EXP lost, a lot of stacks lost in the meantime. No one's in the top lane right now, and L5 isn't collapsing or committing to anybody. So Falstad's getting extra soak. They're going to control this double channel here for a moment. Tempest is just winning on every front. No one is going down to deal with the bot temple right now. They should be able to realize it's a 5-man up for Tempest, so just looking to try to take a fight perhaps 2 levels down.
No less on this front line. And Modern Life has been soaking up so much damage as his Tyrael is just on point. There's another big power slide, and 7-sided strike. Swo is very low. Can he actually make it up? No, he does not. Also gets blown away by the Gust.
The Gust helps secure the kill. This is trademark Hyde. Hyde, the first player in Korea to ever have 7-sided strike used to make it meta. Always paired with ETC, mostly also with the Tyrael. This game is running away from L5 very quickly.
Tycho's also going for Neosteel coding at 13 just to block out the spell when it is activated.
Yep. 2 mages. Double ability damage.
Great talent choices coming out. I really love this game coming out from Tempest. Just taking control from the beginning and all the way out with those globals.
16 is reached. It's Lockdown is just sitting up here getting extra soak. We do finally see it the first time we may see a kill for L5. They collapse. Don't get the kill though. Nitrogen gets slowed. Dragon Knight not going to be able to find too much more. Sign is just going to expire. Look for the retreat. I mean, this is an excellent game for Tempest. This is why they're showing why they're top 3 right now. And they're just not making any mistakes.
And even more damage coming out from Karazim. No cleanse needed at 16, as there are not too many CCs from L5.
L5 committed the 5-man to rotate up to take that fight, But I feel like, considering what they knew in terms of vision, there was no reason to do that. They were better off to send Nazeebo bot, have SC soak, get more stacks, and also retake that shrine. Albeit probably very temporarily, but still, if he retakes that shrine, they don't have the Dragon Knight against them. They soak a little bit more. They knew Tempest was rotating 5 men up. They could have just avoided the fight up at the top. Even if Tempest commits to the fort, I feel like L5 is happy to give it away. So, still, L5's holding on. Only a level and a half behind.
Yep, they really need to hold on. Now this is their time to stall time until Nazeebo gets their power spike, but they're 2 levels behind, and Tempest is really making their rotations work against L5.
Look at the minimap. L5 just looks clueless.
And
they don't know where anybody is.
Look at that positioning of Sign. He's always in that bush in the middle, trying to catch anyone that goes around him.
L5 stayed together out of EXP range, not committing to the siege or the night camp they didn't know was being taken because they're so terrified. They have no vision because all lanes are pushed. They were scared to check because they knew Sign would be in good position. They knew there was the possibility of a power strike coming out of a bush. And Tempest is in their heads now. Okay, Shrine's up again. L5 will control the bottom one. Lockdown's just going to take this top and then looks like push the top fort. Trying to bait a rotation up right now is Tempest. Noblesse, though, should be able to sniff this out. Yep, he will. Even the ping here is saying, let it go. And actually, Falstead rotates mid for more soak, but not going to pressure that fort any further on the top. We have the sneaky Ragnaros coming up. I like this. This is going to deny the full channel. Well, if he gets on it, that is. If he gets on it, he doesn't go to it. And what? Now Lockdown just gets us for free. Oh, the idea there to sneak Ragnaros up was so smart, but he didn't actually capture, so it doesn't matter.
I think he was scared of the possible ganks coming in. He didn't really see anyone else on the screen. So making the safe decision, but
that was
an off decision.
I feel like that was the only place where they could have known it was safe. Look at this. This is the push right here. Those minions were the minions that gave him enough vision. He took the long path around. The team could have rotated up for him. Yep, Leaving does get taken out here by Hyde 7-sided. But this is a great game from Tempest. L5 making some uncharacteristic mistakes, but Tempest is basically playing perfect. I mean, they might perfect game here. They have all forts up. They have 0 deaths. They're pushing for 20. They have another Dragon Knight. Keep wall is going to get knocked down here. The mid keep wall is threatened. They're almost at 20. Noblesse really wants this, but look at the split and disengage. One more cannon tower will almost surely get them 20. Looks like they're not able to get it with the Dragon Knight.
They also have this keep wall and the fort left on the top. If they make the top rotation, then Falstead can take that fort anytime. There's Mosh.
Here he goes in. Sanctification coming up a little bit of disjointed.
But look at that Gus grabbing everyone to join the team fight. That great turnaround from L5. Great smash onto 2 targets. And here's the chase onto Hyde, and Hyde just dashes away with Modern Life. Some damage left. 7-sided just to buy time.
Ooh. Gets out though.
It's almost too close.
That was definitely, well, it's no longer going to be a perfect game for Tempest after that, but definitely a discoordination of the ults. You know, you had the Mosh Pit coming in without Sanctification. Sanctification's up. Then you have the Gust coming in after both were already used. 7-side only used to retreat. Could have been a lot better for the engage, but this is amazing for Tempest now. They still don't have 20, but they keep their keeps alive. And they get closer. They kind of close the gap a little bit in terms of that Storm talent tier advantage that Tempest will have for a bit longer. Good defensive fight there using the Molten Core.
It all started from side. Not really catching anyone with that Mosh. Barely one. And missing one right after. And here comes L5. Hold on to that thought. Modern Life gets caught for a second, but not enough follow-up. And to continue on my thought, Modern Life was indecisive to actually go in with the Sank to help him because he wasn't really catching anyone. And then Sank was out for defensive only for ETC. And when all the damage like Smash or the skills from Li Ming came out, and here's a big Gust.
Okay, here's a Gust. Jungha especially in a really bad spot. Nitrogen does eat that Ancestral. And Jungha, though, he is barely surviving, even self-casts his Sulfuris there to try to get the stun to help him escape. It's a big waste at the end of the day, but at least he survives. They have 20 now. Tall Rush, the big power spike at 20 for Nazeebo, Hardened Shield for Muradin, and even Rewind being taken here for Rhaegar. So L5 surviving, keeping all their keeps. When you have a game where all 3 keeps are up, the only thing that the team that's behind, when you're both even at level 20 right now, the only thing the team that's behind really has to feel bad about is that when they want to end the game, it's going to take longer. But in every other way, Tempest isn't massively ahead. They don't have any more. There's no more talent tier advantages. They're probably not going to have any scaling advantages in terms of level. There's no catapult pressure on L5. So this game is kind of hard mode for L5 in terms of structures. But this is the closest it's been since the start in terms of like leveling the playing field, so to speak. So see this push down here, bot. This will need to be dealt with. Siege Giants will get that first keep if they don't do anything about it.
And now this Nazeebo will be a strong one if you get a few hits, and that Ragnaros gets caught by the power slide, but perfect respawn comes out from L5.
So Furus is up. Molten Core should be up soon. This top push is actually doing a little bit of damage, but not too significant right now, as that's a long way away from the keep, and that fort isn't going to accomplish too much the rest of this game. This global coordination lockdown goes up, but finally Jungha is in the right place at the right time to deny this time. And they're going to go up and stop this push. They'll save the fort, it looks like. Again, not the biggest deal of this game, but significant nonetheless. Now it's L5 that's grouped together to take this night camp. You can see that Noblesse is just kind of scouting to see if there's any rotations in so they can respond to that. Finally, we're seeing this team feel coordinated again.
Yes, and now they have the power. Widowmaker is finished. Bile Infection is also finished. Nazeebo will have the big power spike as both camps are going on to the other way, and they have to go for that shrine anyhow. So we're going to see this big rotation coming out from both teams, going for the shrine and also to clear out the camps.
Yep, this fort is super low. I think they're actually going to save it though. Yep.
Wow, I can't even see the HP bar.
It's you need a microscope for that one. But Hyde, really aggressively positioned, trying to punish Noblesse with a potential 7-sided strike. Does not actually commit to that. Missiles going over the wall here as this camp is reset. Noblesse is going to heal up, and they're going to take this nonetheless. Or relieve some of this bot pressure. This game is going late now, though. And this is exactly what the Nazeebo pick is designed to do. He didn't get as many stacks in the early game as he wanted because of the EXP zoning. And SC just wasn't able to get those kills, get those last hits. But now he's free to do so. And it doesn't look like this game is going to end anytime soon. Playing a little bit of Ring Around the Rosie in terms of the shrines, as you can see. Channeled briefly for L5, then Lockdown gets the channel at top. Epic Mount is super important in the late game. But in terms of scaling, every moment that goes by, every minion kill is better for SC. Some poke going down here. This is actually a really tough position. L5 getting into a nice spot here. Tempest should not look to fight this. They don't have Epic Mount yet. Okay, it comes in right as I say that. Sanctification, though, going to do a number. Jungha gets the Ancestral, so he survives here. Modern Life has that Hardened Shield, and Noblesse is zoning everybody away from him. Good engage and good disengage by Tempest both. The Sanctification there, so that fight was not disastrous for them, and they were able to walk away carefully there. The Ancestral was really well timed on Jungha, but there's nothing they could do after that. Almost all 10 heroics were used in this exchange. Tempest, though, zoned away from the Dragon Knight right now. This could be a tiny timing window to channel. Nah, not going to happen.
Not going to be enough, yes. Of course, channeling for Dragon Knight does not take the longest, but there was just not enough time. Tempest, great disengage right there. As both Sign has been just catching one target, and oftentimes it was no less. Not a Nazeebo, not a Leeming, not Ragnaros, which he should be going for. And it's also L5 that's positioning perfectly on the backline. And here comes a big gust.
They wanted to knock Noblesse in so they could go for the 7-sided, but it's not what they were looking for.
Yeah, not exactly
no sank.
Right.
No sank. SC is doing a ton of damage. Modern Life has to pop Hardened Shield again. Here comes that raid boss. Coming up, Molten Core on to Modern Life. He's very low. Noblesse looking for the Q. Misses it there. Has to pop his own hardened shield to get out. Signs positioning, once again, really good. But there's a Sulfuras right into his face. And L5 is trying to fight their way back into the late game here.
This will be a Dragon Knight.
It's going to be a Dragon Knight. They're first.
Sure. Sign went in to save Modern Life to come out from that danger zone, but costed his life for it. And Lockdown actually flew in. I don't think that's enough time to actually...
Just barely not. Barely not enough time. That means his flight is on cooldown. He has Epic Mount, so it's not the longest cooldown in the world, but he's not going to be there for the defense.
This is a 22-minute Dragon Knight.
Yep, look at how much damage.
It's going to get the core for sure, and maybe even go for a second keep.
It'll be the first keep of this game. They get it. Incredible comeback story here. Look at the Nazeebo damage now. Look at his tankiness. He's almost as tanky as Murden.
Yes.
I'm not even kidding. He certainly is. Look at this.
Nobody's getting chopped down from seven-sided, though.
Just overextending a little bit there. But L5 isn't even concerned.
Yeah, and ETC
just respawning.
Just respawn. So what could have been a 2-keep attack, just I feel like it's going to end in 1 keep. And maybe go for the top rotation and get the fort at the very end. Not even going to try.
Well, the
seems like Jungha is lost.
Well, he just doesn't want to overextend and get caught. He's Ragnaros after all, so he doesn't have any escapes out of this. Tempest ends up in this game where they were massively ahead, 9 kills to 0. Behind in keeps now. This is an incredible comeback story here. L5. The game isn't over yet. It's still 15 seconds until Murden will respawn, so Noblesse will have to rejoin. All 10 heroics in the game will be up with his avatar in 30. Jungha just going to drop this Dragon Knight out. The longer this game goes, the more that lane pressure is going to stack up and the more extra HP that Nazeebo is going to get.
Ooh, Epiphany again.
Yep, we saw that yesterday just once.
Yeah, it's going to give a lot more dashes, which means a lot more damage along with those punches after the dashes. It's helping taking out Noblesse, of course, even with 7-sided strike. But it's not helping his own. Sanctification has been used for defensively, also to chain with Mosh Pit, which has not been so perfect, so their execution really didn't fall in together at the recent team fights, but let's see if they can make it on the next one.
Okay, with how long the death timers are right now, the team fight winner, if it's a wipe, wins the game on either side. So for L5, I feel like they just want to buy as much time as possible until the next Dragon Knight comes up. Continue to get more and more stacks for Nazeebo. Look at Nazeebo. He's the one who's defending the bot push. He's getting the stacks. He's not even going to bother with that siege camp. And that's why Jungha didn't just auto-expire the Dragon Knight, even though he knew he couldn't do anything, because he wanted to have it expire the last second, which then further delays the next Dragon Knight. Because they don't want to deal with a Dragon Knight, but they don't have globals to stop the channels. They got the last Dragon Knight off of picks, not rotations. So they're just kind of like, all right, let's just go later and later and later and later into this game. And if you want a team fight, go for it. As we are not going to lose this game right now when we could scale deeper. They have this Siege Knight push. They're just going to sit behind it, look for a second keep. Look at the scaling here. I mean, even at level 24, everybody's getting stronger, including Li Ming, who now has this siege potential. Look at this. Magic Missile's doing so much this late into the game. And this is going to be a dead keep with this. Tempest not able to respond. They look for the Gust, though. Can they win this team fight and win the game anyways? This may be their last chance to do so.
Moshpit does get cancelled while the channeling happens, and Sanctification is already dropped for that. Teswa is the first one to get blown up, but the L5 still has so much damage left. Tempest really has to respond, and even Torbus going to help lock down the SCSC at the very end. Ice block.
Okay, Big Red Button's going to get the kill here. It's another kill. 2 left. They're looking for the picks. Molten Core coming up. Nitrogen wants this fight. He wants to get the resets, get those dominance stacks. They need to buy more time. With 2 dead and all keeps alive, I don't think Tempest could end the game even if they had gotten that pick. I like this usage of Molten Core. Cooldown reduction with the level 20 raid boss. They survived to fight another day. This keep wall down, so they will have to go home to defend this. It's just going to be Nitrogen. doesn't have Disintegrate, but he can clear this eventually. Too bad Calamity doesn't clear minion waves anymore, but as it turns out, no matter how many times you nerf Li Ming, she just keeps coming back.
Yes.
So let's see if they can stop the channel of the Dragon Knight. Everyone is respawning now. Tychus in the bot lane. I don't think they're going to be able to stop the Dragon Knight. Ooh, Duck Duck is scared. He doesn't have vision. The lane is pushed. They're going to commit to it. No one to stop him. No one to stop him. Oh, the catapult stops the channel. That's actually crazy. I'm surprised L5 is just going to let this happen.
I think L5 really is taking this safely. They've been taking it safely the entire game. And they don't want to cost anyone's life. Even Noblesse has to be safe against that carries him especially.
Pretty sure the Dragon Knight 2 shots a keep now, though. So I'm a little bit worried about just letting this go. They're going to have to survive this for 1.5 minutes of time. How much can they really delay with this composition? We're going to find out right now. Dragon Knight pushing forward. Noblesse just trying to do as much as he can to delay. We're down to 110. 70 seconds to go on this. Even the catapult trying to get involved. Big red button popped here, as so is Odin. Don't forget, we could see a big gust engage. Falstad is coming in a little bit later.
Even Sign's not really.
Yeah, he can't even auto
at all.
He's so careful. Look at Lockdown's position. He wants a big engage here. Actually, almost too careful with how he's doing this.
Holy Ground taking Noblesse out of the zone, but Hyde not even attacking. They're all being super cautious right now.
Okay, still 35 seconds to go, and Big Red Button's helping Siege us down. Sign just wants the hits. Here comes the big Molten Core, though. This is the opportunity for L5. Will we see Sign just terminate this Dragon Knight and look for the power slide? Looks like they don't need to. Noblesse is already dead.
Perfect come in and gusting everyone else but Noblesse just to take him out. This may actually be at game over right after Junga expires on that Molten Core.
Okay, the keep
only
is going to
7
go
seconds
down.
on the Dragon Knight, though.
Yeah, Dragon Knight's going down, but so does the keep. 2 keeps to 1. This is, whew, this is an intense game. This is a really good game.
The longest game before this was 26-24 with MVP Black versus Tempest.
Yep,
now
on the
this
same
is
map,
the
right?
Longest. Actually, it was a bit BOE, but
okay.
after that, it is Dragonshire also.
Okay.
So,
well, look, 25-25, 30 minutes in.
my goodness.
Getting a little bit hyped, but this game
Look at
goes on.
Nazebo! He's a tank!
He is a tank. Actually want to see the health bars of Muradin. You can see signs
I think
right
it's
there.
about the same now.
It's pretty close.
Scaling is insane. 30-minute game coming off of Tempest versus L5. I did not expect this, but 1 kill may be enough to end the game now.
Yeah, I mean, death timers are 70 plus. Just going to see the bully here from Tempest as they try to push that top lane. Unfortunately, no weakness there.
I love this build from coming out from Hyde. I'm gonna try it when I get home right after. It's all in attack and all. It's like it's almost an anti tank, anti Muradin especially. I'm really liking this build. I'm gonna try it.
Looks like Noblesse is still a little bit tankier than SC, but it's gonna be tough to kill this hero that also has Ice Block, mind you. And obviously finished his Spider Quest and is really strong in general. Dragon Knight's going to call up in 20. I was going to say this Dragon Knight will probably end the game, but at the same time, I don't know if this Dragon Knight may never be taken.
We may never see the end of this game.
Well, the Dragon Knight just may never be possible.
We may never see HGC EU today.
Could happen.
Well, let's see. This game will be over in just 1 team fight, and Noblesse, look at the positioning, just be so careful.
Lockdown pushing this really aggressively is going to take the top channel. Looks like L5 wants to take an engagement before he flies down, but this is so risky. He has Epic Mount, can come down at any moment. The super quick flight. Oh, this is so intense. The longer this goes on, again, always the better for L5. They're down now at 4% scaling for a few more seconds.
And they're going for this bottom lane.
Oh, they're going to potentially backdoor. They're going to force L5 to come down. Looks like L5 is, or excuse me, Tempest is not going to take the bait.
If Falstad is also being careful, does have to take care of those catapults.
Ooh. L5 move around like a group of sharks.
Both
Fuel
teams
blood in the
making
water.
careful rotations, and ETT does spot their own camp. And Falstead is ready to fly in.
Okay, Odin is popped. Here we go. This is going to be the fight that decides the game, almost certainly. Jungha trying to get the Molten Core. He is denied, but here comes the Ancestral. We just see a huge Sank Mosh going off right now, and already Rhaegar is removed. Now Jungha goes down. Looks like Tempest will finally take this game. 32 minutes in. Off of one move, L5 commits to get the Molten Core. They have Jungha try this, but all it takes is one gust, and the game is over.
Well, look at that 1 damage from SCSC. That's insane. It's almost over 1,000 damage with 1 auto attack.
And that's with base spell
Lockdown
armor
actually gets killed by those spiders at the end, but that's it. This will be game over. Wow.
Wow, indeed.
What a fight here.
Tempest fights back. And avoid that cannon tower. If they sneezed on the cannon tower at this level, they would just blow it up. But just going to end this game. Nothing to worry about back at home. We're going to a 1-1 score. Tempest took a game off L5 in our previous round robin. And already in our second, they take 1 game. But this series isn't over yet. We're going to a tied 1-1 score. Tempest will take Dragonshire game number 2. As you can see, Sign is a bit exasperated after a hard-fought victory.
The last gust coming out from Lockdown and canceling that Molten Core of Jungha going into that fort. Literally just decided.
That was the one move
fight.
that decided the game.
Yes. Decided, of course, Noblesse couldn't really make as big plays as he